Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, still rolling steady with these final 5 reviews in what I'm choosing to call my final 5 frenzy because I played much too much Mario Party DS back in my day. And third up in this crunch of a catch-up session, we have Malta, who is another one of those countries that switched things up this year because this year they chose their artist through the X Factor and then internally selected the song, as opposed to having the Malta Eurovision Song Contest national final, which every year was like just a highlight of the calendar because of all of the sponsorships. No more will we hear from 202 Jewellery or Hamilton Travel or any of the others, but in exchange we've got a surprisingly competent song with a definitely competent performer in the form of Michela and the song Chameleon, not to be confused with Ira Losco's Chameleon from a couple of years ago. So it's fully in English, music and lyrics by Joachim Bo Persson, Paula Vinja, something like that, Borislav Milanov, and Johan Alknes, at least 2 of whom are egregiously misspelled on Eurovision.tv and under the music video, but that might be on purpose. I don't understand art. So to prove that, well, let's get on with my review of this song. I've got to say, listening to this song for the very first time was an absolute journey. Within the first minute or so, I went from, wow, this is interesting, to, is this just trying to be Fuego, to, wait, no, it's more like Margaret's Cool Me Down a couple of years ago, to, hold up, that's a bold choice for an instrumental hook, and when all was said and done, I was right back around to being like, wow, this is interesting, once again. So, I know that this is one song this year that people are going to lump together with Cyprus and Switzerland and Belarus, but honestly, I think it kind of stands on its own. Like, yeah, it's got the same rhythm and the same structure, but I'd say that's kind of incidental, or at the very least, it's not as major of a component in the song's presentation style as it is with those others. But that could just be me. So, putting that to one side, let's take a look at the song's definitive, stronger aspects. Well, let's not waste any time mincing words here. The first thing that leaps out about this song is the fact that the instrumentation contains some very unique choices, bearing in mind the song's genre. And I think that really helps it to stick out against the other songs with reggaeton rhythms this year. Like, this could have oh so easily been another Fuego, Replay, She Got Me, Like It sort of thing. But the song doesn't rely on that rhythm as its central identity. Rather, it makes its own. And its weird off-piste hook really helps with that too, as the central sort of defining moment, the recap moment of the song. Like, that hook is the part that will come to mind, both in the recap and just in general. That's the Chameleon moment. Chameleon is the song that you associate with that hook, the hook you associate with the song. It all comes together. Overall, it makes for a very chartable song with an identity that is varied enough and clearly defined enough to hold its own both at this year's contest and in the music industry at large. Of course, Michela as a singer is, as is so often the case with these songs, a key figure in making the song pop as much as it does, both musically and marketably. That is to say, we have substantial proof, courtesy of the Maltese X Factor, that she is a capable, competent, versatile, popular live performer. So I don't doubt that she is going to bring her best to this performance and really, really sell it live, and that's good. A song like this that speaks of self-confidence and has that kind of sass to it needs to be performed with energy and with conviction. Not like hyper chihuahua puppy on sugar kinds of energy by any means, but a cool, almost semi-detached kind of suavery. I believe that Michela can carry that off, and speaking of how it is going to come across when performed live, judging by both the music video and just the lyrics having that recurring metaphor of the chameleon, I anticipate this is going to be another song this year with a very eye-catching sort of live presentation style. I expect mesmerizing colours, the right balance of choreography, and perhaps one single gimmick, maybe. Nothing excessive or ridiculous, just one little aesthetic bonus to tie it all together nicely. And even if they don't do that, they're still going to have quite an engaging song on their hands anyway that will probably persist even after this year's contest ends. Good job there, Malta. Where's this been hiding all these years? Nevertheless, for as well as they carry off the whole female-led pop banger routine, if that's not your favourite flavour of song, then they could be teaching a masterclass in the subject and it wouldn't make any difference for you, and that's a valid opinion to have as well. For instance, while I praised the song's relative uniqueness within its genre, I have to admit, the introduction of the reggaeton percussion layer around the first bridge does cheapen the experience by quite a bit. Like, the song does go hard with its identity, but that rhythm sneaking in cuts the identity down to half. Like, it's still imposingly present and impressive, it still has a very distinct identity, but it would have twice as much identity without that rhythm. It just feels watered down all of a sudden in that moment for so much emphasis to be placed on that rhythm section. Also, while the prospect of how they might stage this song does excite me, I won't deny that, I must voice a slight concern that the live delivery will make or break this song's appeal. It's a big gamble. I think Michela's vocals aren't a concern in that department, so much as the song needs the right kind of middle ground in terms of choreography and presence, as I alluded to earlier. If you lowball it too much, then you've got a sassy, confident song with so little stage presence that it falls flat. But if you overcompensate and give it super high energy choreography and a massive gimmick on stage, sort of think along the lines of if Christabel's half cube thing from last year also spun around and like shot fire or something, that kind of excessive, then that would overshadow the song and undermine the actual point of what's being sung. And true, that does kind of apply to every song in the history of ever, but with a laid-back yet up-tempo number like this, that balance is more important than ever to strike correctly. And having acknowledged that, there's one thing that I'm sort of in two minds over, and stop me if I'm getting a bit too out there, but Michela's delivery of the song is believable, yes, but it's kind of a chewing gum for the mind kind of song. Like, it has a good message, but realistically, it's not something she would ever naturally say or even think to herself. Or to anyone for that matter. Like, I can be your jungle? Really? Maybe I'm just getting burned out after reviewing so many songs, so my suspension of disbelief is beginning to falter somewhat. Of course, the most valid counterpoint to that is, so it's not real, who cares? If someone can derive strength or self-worth or anything really from this song, who cares if the song itself is fiction? Well, someone might care, but not me, I guess, since who cares if it's fiction actually aligns perfectly with my personal philosophies, so I am severely drifting away from the main point here, aren't I? So, to get back on topic, numbers. Again, not mincing words here, I give this a personal rating of 10 out of 10. I really don't know the full whys or wherefores of this, but this song hooked me. At first, I was worried that it was just going to be just another entry on the pile of reggaeton bandwagoners, but no, it held its head up high and started waving its metaphorical flag of identity-havingness. Should have worked a bit harder on that explanation. Well, in any case, the song stands head and shoulders above the ones that first come to mind to compare it to, at least, because of its quirky instrumental choices, its understated and unique kind of hook, and, well, I'll be honest, I do find the lyrics to be more than a little bit inspiring. Hell, I actually wrote this review by accident because I listened to the song just to give myself some energy and perk me up, and now here we are. It feels like it actually means something because it's reaching out to connect to the audience rather than just being, ooh, I'm gonna pretend to be your girlfriend for 3 minutes, or ooh, I'm singing about a girl that doesn't exist because she makes the party go boom. In this case, we've got, I'm singing something because I want to share how inspired I feel, and that, because it transcends the fourth wall, it makes more of a connection. I'm rambling, I know. Technically, meanwhile, I was originally going to say 8 out of 10, but having listened to it a few more times and thought a bit more carefully about it, I think a 9 out of 10 is actually a bit more justified here. As I said, it could be so easy to write this song off as just another of its kind, but I have to acknowledge that it actually makes an effort to set itself apart from the trend that inspired it, rather than just going with the flow. Belarus. Also, it's evident that the composition took Michela as a performer into consideration, and when she performs the song back to us, that really does come across. So, yeah, I really look forward to seeing what they make of this on the stage in Tel Aviv. In the meantime, though, is this a good move for Malta in the grand scheme of things? Sure, why not? They've been relying on the same national final format for years now, and its successes have been wavering quite a bit, to say the least, so they were kind of due for a change anyway. And realistically, this is kind of a better format anyway, letting people choose who they think is their best representative and the best live performer at the same time, and then workshopping an entry with them directly once the public has given their approval. It's sort of like with Switzerland this year, in that they're cutting out the middleman and just jumping straight to what would be the revamp stage in any other year. And if absolutely nothing else, the last time they did this, i.e. had a national final to pick the singer, but then chose a song internally, coincidentally also involving a song called Chameleon, as you'll recall, things kind of went super well for Malta at the actual contest. Coming, what, 3rd in their semi-final and 12th overall? This kind of bodes really well here. So, is it going to follow in Era's footsteps and qualify? My analysis would suggest so, and the betting odds at the moment are inclined to agree. This is currently in the top 10 in the betting odds, so wow. The closest this song has to direct stylistic competition in semi-final 2 is, again, Switzerland, and Malta has the added advantage of being in the second half anyway. Not that the song and Switzerland are so similar that they'd step on each other's toes directly anyway. It's just that pesky reggaeton rhythm at work again, but even then, it's nowhere near prominent enough to realistically put it at direct odds with Luca like that. So yeah, I think we could expect another impressive result from Malta to follow up the last time they selected a song internally. It's not guaranteed, mind, nothing's set in stone for this year, everything's wide open, but I think this song is likely to do very well, at least. But how do you feel about it? As ever, comments, iCard, you know the drill. I'm not gonna make this outro drag out longer than it has to, so to Malta, to Michela, and to whoever had this idea for selecting Malta's entry, I wish you all the very best of luck, because I think you're going to surprise some people and turn some heads when you get to Tel Aviv. I look forward to seeing just how well you do.